Racism in soccer matches in Europe is out of control sometimes, and in Russia there's a lot of concern because in the last season the racist displays have almost doubled up. And facing the fact that they are going to be hosting the World Cup in the future, this is very, very important. UEFA, FIFA, they have very strong campaigns about fighting racism in the field. We have incidents where we have the bleachers making monkey sounds to the players. We have incidents of players being abused almost every single game. One of the most famous cases is the Ghana player Frimpton, where he was abused in one of the games and he decided to flip the finger, and then he got the worst part of the deal, being suspended for 2 games for reacting. There's another player, a Brazilian player called Hulk, a striker, that he's being reported being part of 21 cases of abuse, of racist abuse in his career, to the point that he came forward and said, I learned to live with this. This is the way soccer is played in Russia, and I have to deal with it. And I think it's unfortunate, and we have to be very vigilant because we're going to have the teams from all around the world come to these stadiums that have been closed for official games from UEFA because of this racism that exists.
Well, I'm really careful not to paint all of Russia with a racist brush. You know, I've gone into homes of Paralympians and interviewed them, sat down with their families, and that hasn't been the case for me. I didn't see that there. But, you know, in the cases that you're addressing right now, you know, having players come out, specifically the one that had multiple instances of racism, you know, it's disgusting, it's tragic, it shouldn't be occurring. And, you know, you hear stories like this not only coming out of Russia, but also coming out of parts of Western Europe. So likely are in places where it's less homogenous, if you will. You know, the U.S. is a melting pot. We're used to this, but we're talking about nations and continents even that don't have a lot of movement to them. So
and racial diversity.
That's an issue.
That's exactly their argument. The Russian authorities are saying, well, this is happening all over Europe, and you guys are just, you know, pointing the finger against Russia because we're getting close to the World Cup. Not only that, FIFA is in great troubles internally. The president is almost out. Their elections, there's been a bunch of people at the top ranks being imprisoned, and they are trying to have a very, very clean World Cup at Russia because of the background of the way Russia was chosen to be the host of the World Cup, and also the fear that we're going to have these incidents, because the fact that they doubled up in the last season after being really controlled, they claim that the police is better at identifying and not letting hooligans into the stadiums.
Hooliganism is
it's a big deal. It is, and it is part where they see, there's pictures where these groups, they get
Pussy
together.
Riots, hooligans.
Yeah, and they pull swastika flags in the games, and they start making monkey sounds. They throw banana peels.
That is a hate crime.
So that's exactly what we're trying to see, because if we are in a game of Germany and someone of the Russian fans come and do this type of displays, it's going to be nasty. There's going to be a lot of people angry. We have to prevent it. There's a lot of campaigns. UEFA has one of the strongest campaigns, one of the best campaigns around to prevent racism in the pitch. But the reality is that today, those who go to the stadium hide in the crowds to put forward hate and racism against black players.